In the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, nestled between misty hills and dense forests, lay a forgotten town called Willow Creek. Once, decades ago, it had been vibrant, a town where the laughter of children echoed through cobblestone streets and the aroma of fresh bread from the old bakery drifted down the lanes every morning. But time had a cruel way of turning laughter into echoes and life into silence. The town square, now cracked and worn, held memories of the town's golden days. A rusty fountain in the center trickled water weakly, as if it, too, mourned the faded joys of Willow Creek. Wooden signs swung in the wind, creaking like whispers of forgotten stories. It was in this place, surrounded by the ghosts of its own past, that 17-year-old Eleanor, or Ellie Harper, lived. Ellie was no stranger to hardship. Her father, a miner, had perished in a tragic collapse in the nearby coal mines when she was just 10. Her mother, fragile in health, had worked tirelessly at the town's textile mill, her hands raw and aching, just to keep Ellie fed. Yet despite the struggles, Ellie carried a spark of hope, a delicate flame, small but persistent, that refused to be extinguished. Her life had become a rhythm of hardship and quiet resilience. Each morning she would walk barefoot through the dew-soaked streets, carrying water from the old well, delivering letters and small errands to the remaining townfolk. Each step was a testament to endurance. Each glance at the faded murals on brick walls, a reminder of what Willow Creek once was. But Ellie had a secret, a dream she dared not speak aloud. Every night, after her mother fell asleep, she would climb to the hill overlooking the town and gaze at the stars. In the silence, she imagined a life beyond the mountains, beyond the sorrow, where laughter wasn't an echo and life wasn't fragile. She wrote letters to that imagined world, never sending them, but letting her thoughts drift among the constellations, hoping someday, somehow, someone would read them. It was during one of these nights, under a silver-laden sky, that she first noticed him. A traveler, old yet vigorous, appeared from the forest path below. A man with eyes like storm clouds, carrying a worn leather satchel. He paused at the fountain, as if drawn to the melancholy heart of Willow Creek. His name was Samuel Kane, and he was not like anyone Ellie had met. He spoke of faraway cities, bustling streets, and shining lights, things Ellie had only imagined in the quiet sanctuary of her mind. But there was a sadness in him, too, an unspoken story mirrored in the wrinkles of his face and the heaviness of his gaze. And in that encounter, amidst the crumbling facades and silent streets, a bond began to form. Two lost souls, connected by unspoken grief, finding a fragile thread of hope in each other's presence. Little did Ellie know the arrival of Samuel Kane would stir memories buried deep in Willow Creek, memories that would bring pain, loss, and ultimately a revelation so profound it would alter her life forever.
Days passed, yet Samuel did not leave Willow Creek. Instead, he settled into the old inn at the edge of town, sharing stories with anyone who would listen, but always carrying a quiet distance, as if some unseen weight pressed upon him. Ellie found herself drawn to him, at first out of curiosity, and then out of a strange, comforting familiarity. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, Ellie approached him near the fountain. "Why did you come here?" she asked softly, her voice trembling. Samuel looked at her, the faint lines of his face deepening. "I've been searching for something I lost long ago, and perhaps, unknowingly, I found a piece of it in this town." Ellie sensed a sorrow deeper than any she had known. Her own heart ached with questions she dared not speak. She had always felt the emptiness left by her father's death, the struggle of her mother's illness, the town's silent despair. But in Samuel's presence, the weight of her loneliness seemed understood. Days turned into weeks, Ellie began helping Samuel collect old letters, journals, and photographs left behind in the abandoned houses of Willow Creek. Each item told a story of love, of joy, and of pain. The lives of families who had long since left or perished in hardships too heavy to bear. One rainy afternoon, they discovered a box hidden beneath the floorboards of an old library. Inside, letters written in a delicate hand revealed the life of a woman named Clara, who had loved fiercely but had been torn apart by tragedy. She had lost her husband to war, her children to illness, and yet had written letters filled with hope and resilience, words that spoke across generations. Ellie read the letters aloud, and tears streamed down her cheeks. Samuel listened quietly, his own eyes reflecting memories he had tried to bury. The stories of Willow Creek were not just tales, they were warnings, lessons, and reminders of the fragility of human connection. That night, as thunder rumbled over the mountains, Samuel confided in Ellie the secret he had carried for decades. "I once lived here. I once lost everything. My family, my home, my dreams. I left Willow Creek because the pain was unbearable. But seeing you, seeing the town, it reminds me that even in the deepest sorrow, hope can survive." Ellie felt a mixture of fear and comfort. She realized that the strength she had felt in her lonely nights was mirrored in Samuel, and she understood the town, with all its pain and silence, was not dead. It was waiting for someone to remember, to heal, and to carry its story forward. But the revelation came with a cost. That same week, Ellie's mother fell gravely ill. The doctor said her heart was failing. Without immediate care, she wouldn't survive the winter. Ellie was torn. The town had been her home, yet it now seemed like a cage. Samuel offered to help, but even his presence could not erase the crushing reality of her mother's condition. In the quiet hours of the night, Ellie held her mother's hand, whispered promises of love, and prayed for strength. Samuel stayed by her side, offering silent support, knowing that some pain could not be soothed by words alone. And in those moments, Ellie began to understand the truth. Life in Willow Creek was harsh, unforgiving, and often cruel, but it was also filled with resilience, with connection, with small acts of courage that could light even the darkest nights.
Winter had settled over Willow Creek, blanketing the town in frost and quiet. The once vibrant streets now lay silent, the fountain frozen and the mist curling around the old houses like memories lingering in the air. Yet in the Harper home, warmth glowed, fragile but unwavering. Ellie spent every waking moment caring for her mother. Her hands, raw from endless work, carried water, firewood, and hope all at once. Samuel remained beside her, helping, but more importantly, witnessing her strength. In his eyes, Ellie saw admiration, but also a quiet sorrow, as if he carried the weight of countless winters past. One evening, as the wind howled through the mountains, Ellie's mother whispered, her voice thin and fragile, "My child, never stop dreaming. Even if life is cruel, even if it breaks your heart, hold on to hope." Tears fell from Ellie's eyes. She held her mother close, feeling the frailty of her heartbeat, yet the power of her love. That night, she realized something profound. The town, the struggles, the losses, they were all threads woven into the tapestry of life. Pain was inevitable, but love, hope, and courage were eternal. In the following weeks, Willow Creek began to stir. Neighbors emerged from their homes, inspired by Ellie's relentless care for her mother. Samuel helped repair the old inn, and the townsfolk began gathering in the square again. sharing stories, laughter, and tears. The fountain trickled water once more, a gentle murmur of life returning to the town. One clear night, Ellie climbed the hill as she had done so many times before. The stars stretched endlessly above, and for the first time, she felt truly connected, not just to the cosmos, but to the generations who had loved and suffered in Willow Creek. Samuel joined her silently, and together they looked at the town below. "Willow Creek isn't gone," Samuel said softly. "It lives in you. It lives in all of us." Ellie nodded, her heart swelling. She understood now that life's beauty wasn't in avoiding pain, but in embracing it, in remembering those who came before, and in nurturing hope for the future. Her mother's condition stabilized, though fragile. She smiled often, her presence a constant reminder of resilience. And Ellie, who had once dreamed of a life beyond the mountains, now dreamed for Willow Creek, for laughter to return, for stories to be remembered, for hope to endure. Years later, when travelers passed through the Appalachian Mountains, they would tell tales of Willow Creek, a town that had been forgotten, yet had risen again through the courage of a young girl, the wisdom of a wandering soul, and the undying spirit of love. And though the winters came and went, and the mist enveloped the hills, Ellie's heart remained warm, carrying the echoes of the past, the weight of sorrow, and the brilliance of hope. A testament that even in the deepest pain, life could bloom and hearts could heal.